Let's talk about Cody, because he has absolutely blown up online in the past 24 hours. And if you don't know, he's a massive YouTuber, content creator, podcaster, he DJs now. And the reason his name's popping up all over the place right now is there's this massive wave of pressure for him to address allegations that he had sex with Tana Mongeau back when she was 17. But those allegations reportedly just kind of simmering quietly in the open for a while, but then they started making waves earlier this year when Tana mentioned it on her podcast. But really, this whole situation's blown up in the last 24 hours after D'Angelo Wallace made a video about it. And it's prompted a ton of discussion online, and we'll start with some of the claims at hand, right? So a lot of this first started getting attention last month when Tana did a live show of her podcast and said,
"Who's the smallest dick you ever had sex with?"
Oh my God, do no one look at me, Cody Co. Delete the videos. I can say that. I was literally 17, I can say that. What?
Right, and once that clip made it to TikTok, people started doing the math, realizing that if Tana was 17, Cody would have likely been 25 at the time. With Tana herself then further clarifying the claim on her podcast later in June, saying, yeah, people did the right math.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime. Yeah. I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25. When I look back at the Cody situation, I definitely am like, why was he doing that? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me. And that's bad.
Right, with Tana saying that she was such a big fan of his, and as an adult, it's easier to look back and say she was taken advantage of, but she's not sure she felt that way. But also saying that even though she doesn't feel traumatized, she knows it's wrong, with her then going on to Trisha Paytas's podcast and adding.
But at the same time, like, if I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill.
Well, seemingly all these things got certain pockets of the internet to pay attention. I mean, the situation did not blow up the way it has until yesterday, with D'Angelo posting a video titled An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody Co, which racked up over 1 million views as of this morning, with him going through these allegations and condemning Cody for not addressing them, with him noting that yes, right now they're just allegations, but they are serious, and D'Angelo further arguing that Cody has every right to share his side of the story, but so far his silence makes him look really bad.
Even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best. Why are you choosing the path that would be your only option if you were guilty?
With him also pointing to some of the responses people have seen, which include people trying to dismiss Tana's claims by calling her a liar or saying that she's doing this for attention, and saying,
the person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
And that's actually something Tana touched on during her own podcast.
I have seen so many comments of people like on some like, but what was she wearing? And then I just like, I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward. And then I am like, wow, everyone.
Yeah.
Like seeing people not believe you is so crazy.
Right, and there she said, you know, if she had more public favor or even if Cody had less, the responses would be totally different. With this, you also had D'Angelo saying that it appears Gabby Hanna previously backed Tana's story. Tana saying that Gabby kind of witnessed this and tried to intervene, and D'Angelo saying that he found an old clip where she told this story.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage. Watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he heard that.
And so the responses to all this have been massive. People slamming Cody in his Instagram comments. And folks on Twitter are saying things like, people being okay with Cody Co hooking up with an underage Tana because it's Tana is actually disgusting and further plays into the idea of the perfect victim. Someone can be a terrible person and still be a victim. Her controversy does not take away what he did to her. Now there you also have some people talking about the age of consent in different states, but regarding that, you had a number of folks countering that, saying things like, a lot of grown adults spend a lot of time trying to, well, actually the age of consent and it's vile. A 17-year-old is a minor, minors are children, children cannot consent. And even in areas where it's not, quote, illegal, it's immoral and wrong 100% of the time. But ultimately, that is where we are with this right now, though I don't think that this is gonna be where it ends. But like I mentioned, this has been getting more and more attention, while D'Angelo Wallace's video on YouTube is just past 1 million views. Over on Twitter, a lot of the clips and the segments have multi-million views. Other big commentary channels are now chiming in, like Moist Critical. One of the big consistent things we've seen are pushes for Cody to actually address the claims. But for now, we'll have to wait to see how all this plays out. And of course, if and when he does, I'll want to update this story, but ultimately that's where we are right now.